Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. This is Matiullah Khatak teaching English. Today our topic is figures of speech. Let us see why do writers use figures of speech in their writing. The reason is very simple to understand. It is essentially or basically you can say a technique which is used by a writer because he wants to add an effect. Effect means to add some satire or sarcasm or rhythm or some detail to a piece of writing. A piece of writing here refers to a poem, a novel, or a drama. So, a writer uses figures of speech to help the readers create a more detailed image of what is happening within the writing. In simple words, you can say he wants to paint a picture for the reader to understand the matter in a few seconds. For example, let us take the example from the speech made by Nelson Mandela, where he says that the national mood changes as the season changes. So, here you can see a figure of speech has been used. Which figure of speech has been used? Analogy. National mood and the season. National mood changes, seasons changes. These are two phenomena, and they are equal. They are at par with each other, with respect to their weight, with respect to their importance, with respect to the changes that occur in these two phenomena. When he says the national mood changes as the season changes, we can easily get an image of the seasons changing from winter to summer, from winter to spring, from spring to summer, and so on. So if we are able to paint the image of seasons getting changed from one season to another, we can easily grasp the idea, the notion that he wants to say that a nation does not always remain in one condition or situation or circumstances. Maybe that we are passing through some bad situation today, but we should hope for the better days to come in the future, as we can observe it in the case of seasons. So the two phenomena are placed opposite to each other. A contrast is made between the national mood and the seasons changing from one to the other. So by understanding the phenomena of seasons being changed from one to the other, we can easily understand the idea, the notion, the concept that a nation will not always remain the same if it is passing through some bad situation. It will have some better days to come in the future as well. तो इस चीज़ को समझने के लिए कंसंट्रेशन की ज़रूरत है. नेल्सन मंडेला यहाँ पर यह भी कह सकता था कि ये हालात हमेशा ऐसे नहीं रहेंगे, ये बदल जाएंगे और हमें बेहतर दिन देखने को मिलेंगे. लेकिन उसने ऐसा नहीं कहा, क्योंकि यहाँ देखें कि इस बयान में ज़्यादा अल्फाज का इस्तेमाल, ये हालात हमेशा ऐसे नहीं रहेंगे, ये बदल जाएंगे और हमें बेहतर दिन देखने को मिलेंगे। ज़्यादा अल्फाज का इस्तेमाल और असर भी उस तरह नहीं है जिस तरह के वो इस बयान से असर पैदा कर सकता है कि कौमों के हालात भी मौसम की तरह बदलते हैं। कौमों के हालात भी मौसम की तरह बदलते हैं, ज़्यादा इफ़ेक्टिव है, ज़्यादा फोर्सफुल है, और अल्फाज का इस्तेमाल जो है वो भी इकोनॉमिकल है, कम है। इसलिए राइटर फिर क्या करते हैं, इनको प्रेफर करते हैं कि किसी जगह पर फिगर ऑफ स्पीच को वो रिसॉर्ट करते हैं, उसको चूज़ करते हैं, उसको प्रेफर करते हैं, क्योंकि उनकी टेक्स्ट में, उनकी स्पीच में, उनकी राइटिंग में एक इफ़ेक्टिवनेस, एक फोर्सफुल जो है उसको बना देते हैं। लिहाजा ये कहना ज़्यादा इफ़ेक्टिव है कि कौमों के हालात भी मौसम की तरह बदलते हैं, बजाय इसके कि हम ये कहें या वो ये कहता कि ये हालात हमेशा ऐसे नहीं रहेंगे, ये बदल जाएंगे, हमें बेहतर दिन देखने को मिलेंगे, हमें उसके लिए थोड़ा सा इंतज़ार करना होगा। ये ज़्यादा अल्फाज एंड द इफ़ेक्टिवनेस इज़ नॉट दैट मच। सो हम दूसरी तरफ अगर हम देखें तो यहाँ पर वो क्या कर रहा है, ही इज़ पेंटिंग एन इमेज, अ पिक्चर, and the readers are then able to understand the matter in a matter of seconds, in a few seconds. So that's why you should try to understand that figures of speech are used by the writers because they want to assist the reader in getting a deeper understanding of what is being said and the writing, and it is also used to emphasize, highlight a point to make it more clear to the readers or listeners. और एक और बात कि फिगर ऑफ स्पीच के ज़रिए वो क्या कर सकते हैं, द टेक्स्ट become much more appealing and interesting to the readers or listeners. फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल, ये जो सेंटेंस है आपको एक लंबे अरसे तक याद रह सकता है, दैट द नेशनल मूड चेंजेस एज द सीज़न चेंजेस। लेकिन ये जो सिंपल प्रोज है, ये आपको हो सकता है 1-2 दिन के बाद आप भूल जाते कि ये हालात हमेशा ऐसे नहीं रहेंगे, अगरचे आज हम बुरे हालात का सामना कर रहे हैं, ये बदल जाएंगे, हमें बेहतर दिन देखने को मिलेंगे। ये आपको 1-2 दिन से ज़्यादा याद ना रहते, लेकिन ये आपको एक लंबे अरसे तक ये बात याद रहेगी। ये जो इमेज है जो उसने पेंट किया, जो उसने एक तस्वीर बनाई तुम्हारे आंखों के सामने, दैट सीज़न चेंजेस सो द नेशनल मूड changes. So the change in seasons as an image is a figure of speech. So that's why we can say that text become much more appealing and interesting to the readers or listener. और एक यहाँ पर ये बात भी काबिल ज़िक्र है, the last but not the least one, that there is economy of words. जैसा कि आपने देखा कि लीस्ट यूज़ ऑफ वर्ड्स बट मोर इफ़ेक्टिव, और वहाँ पर एक्सेसिव यूज़ ऑफ वर्ड्स दूसरी तरफ सिंपल प्रोज में जहाँ पर कोई फिगर ऑफ स्पीच यूज़ नहीं हुआ, एक्सेसिव यूज़ ऑफ वर्ड्स एंड नो इफेक्ट, or you can say the effect is comparatively lesser. So there is economy of words. Many things can be said in a few words. और एक और बात, that the speech becomes more powerful and is remembered for a longer period of time because the image gets imprinted, or you can say it leaves an impression upon the mind or memory and is remembered for a longer period of time. So the writers compares, contrast, or associate one thing to another in order to make the idea or notion more clearly visible to the readers or listeners. एक और एग्जाम्पल, फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम कहते हैं कि शेरजील फॉट लाइक अ लायन. ये एग्जाम्पल जो है सेमिली की है. शेरजील फॉट लाइक अ लायन सेमिली है. और फिर हम कहते हैं शेरजील एज अ लायन इन फाइटिंग. ये मेटाफर है. ऊपर वाले में लाइक इस्तेमाल हुआ, नीचे वाले एग्जाम्पल में जो दूसरी एग्जाम्पल मैंने दी उसमें कोई लाइक या एज वाला जो वर्ड है वो इस्तेमाल नहीं हुआ. तो जब हम कहते हैं शेरजील फॉट लाइक अ लायन, अब लायन जो है इज़ अ सिंबल ऑफ ब्रेवरी. वी कैन easily get the image of a lion heading bravely in the forest and making everything frightened, and no animal can dare to come in front of the lion, so everything gets out of the way of the lion. जब हम इस चीज़ को समझते हैं कि अगर हम लाइन की जो पिक्चर है, इमेज है, उसको पेंट कर सकते हैं, उसको जहन में ला सकते हैं, तो फिर शेरजील की बहादुरी जो है वो भी, वो जो आइडिया है, वो जो नोशन है, उसकी बहादुरी जो है वो भी हमारे लिए क्लियरली विजिबल हो जाती है. तो इसलिए राइटर क्या करते हैं, इन ऑर्डर टू मेक देयर राइटिंग मोर इफेक्टिव, they resort to the use of figures of speech in their writing. एक और एग्जाम्पल, फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक राइटर है वो कहता है he jumped into the water, the surface of the water splashed, he made great effort to get to the bottom of the ocean, he gave great movement to his limbs. देखिए इसमें कितने सारे अल्फाज इस्तेमाल हुए हैं. उसकी जंपिंग इनटू द वाटर, और फिर गोता लगाना पानी में, और फिर उसके हाथों की मूवमेंट, और ये सब कुछ उसने पेंट करने की कोशिश की है, और इसके लिए ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा अल्फाज का इस्तेमाल वो करता है. लेकिन दूसरी तरफ एक राइटर है वो क्या करता है, वक्त को बचाने के लिए, वर्ड्स को बचाने के लिए और इसको ज़्यादा इफ़ेक्टिव बनाने के लिए वो क्या करता है, वो सिंपली एक सिमिली का इस्तेमाल करता है. वो कहता है ही डाइव्ड इनटू द वाटर लाइक अ स्टोन. सो अगर हम स्टोन की इमेज जो है वो जहन में ला सकते हैं, इट स्प्लैशेस द सरफेस ऑफ द वाटर एंड गोज़ डायरेक्टली इनटू द बॉटम ऑफ द ओशन. तो फिर हम आसानी से क्या कर सकते हैं, उस शख्स की इमेज, उसकी गोता लगाने की जो स्पीड है, जैसे वो गोता लगाता है और पानी की तह तक पहुंचता है, वो हम आसानी से अपने जहन में स्टोर कर सकते हैं. उसकी मेमोरी को ज़्यादा बेहतर अंदाज में उसको डेवलप कर सकते हैं, बजाय इसके कि हम वो ज़्यादा सेंटेंसेस, ज़्यादा अल्फाज का इस्तेमाल करें. सो दिस इज़ वाई I hope you got what I wanted to convey, what I wanted to make you see. So let us see the objectives that we must try to obtain from this topic. At the end of this lecture, you must be able to know the basic concept of different figures of speech. You must be able to identify different figures of speech in a given text. You must be able to explain the meaning of a sentence in a given text more confidently. And then you must be able at the end to use figures of speech to make your writing more appealing and flowery. It makes your writing more beautiful, more appealing. Appealing, it means it goes directly to the heart. It appeals to the mind and to the heart. So the first, let us see a little about figures of speech. Language can be used in two ways, literally and figuratively. Literally means in its exact sense, and figuratively means in its associated sense. Literal language is direct and uses the real definition and meanings of words and phrases. But when we talk figuratively, the meaning of any word phrase will depend on the context in which they are used. A figure of speech relies on such figurative language and rhetoric. When using figures of speech, the words will diverge from their literal meaning. They are not used in their exact sense. To give a more stylized and specialized meaning to these words, they get some other meanings, like you will see in the example below. Let us take, for example, the phrase fast like lightning. This phrase merely, in its exact sense, it means fast like lightning. It means that the speed with which the light travels. But we will not use it in its literal meaning, in its exact meaning over here. We will use it in its associated meaning, figurative meaning, which is great speed. The phrase merely implies great speed. It doesn't mean literally as fast as lightning. So हम उस सेंस में इसको इस्तेमाल नहीं करते कि बिल्कुल बिजली की जो रफ्तार है उस रफ्तार से या उस स्पीड से. यहाँ पर हमारा सिर्फ मतलब क्या है, ग्रेट स्पीड. On hearing the school bell, let us see this one, this phrase being used in a sentence. On hearing the school bell, the kids ran out of the class as fast as lightning. If we say that Zarar is the Newton of our class, so in these two sentences, let us explain them. On hearing the school bell, the kids ran out of the class as fast as lightning. It doesn't mean they were traveling with the speed of a light. No, it doesn't mean. It means that they came out of their classes with great speed. So, if we say that Zarar is the Newton of our class, it doesn't need to be taken its literal sense that is Zarar is actually the Newton. Rather, it means that he has the faculty of doing things in a very intelligent way. So Newton has become a symbol of intelligence. Here we mean to highlight the intelligence of Zarar, not that he is exactly after Newton. So it means that Zarar is intelligent because Newton has grown as a symbol of intelligence over the period of time. But one thing that we must mention here is that the reader must be familiar with the culture of the writer to enjoy such comparison, contrast, associations in the real sense. So this is important to note. If you really want to understand the text or something that has been said while using a figurative language, you must be familiar with the culture of the writer. If you are not familiar with the culture of the writer, it becomes difficult for you to understand properly the essence, the sense, the real meaning of the sentence or the text. So cultural point of view is very important over here. So let us see the first figure of speech, simile. Simile के बारे में आपने पहले भी सुना होगा, लेकिन यहाँ आप डिटेल से इसको सीखेंगे. जब दो चीज़ों को इस तरह कंपेयर करते हैं कि उनमें कोई एक वो चीज़ें अदरवाइज़ क्या होती है, दे आर अदरवाइज डिफरेंट, दे कम फ्रॉम डिफरेंट स्पीशीज़, लेकिन उनमें एक चीज़ जो है क्वालिटी वो कॉमन होती है, जिसकी वजह से लाइक और एज ये दो अल्फाज इस्तेमाल करके हम उनको क्या करते हैं, दोनों को एक दूसरे के करीब ले आते हैं. ये दोनों चीज़ें इस बात को याद रखें, स्पीशीज़ वाइज दे आर डिफरेंट. एक लाइन हो सकता है एनिमल और दूसरा इंसान हो सकता है. फॉर एग्जांपल हमने जो कहा शेरजील फॉट लाइक अ लाइन, सो लाइन और शेरचील जो है दे आर टू डिफरेंट स्पीशीज़, लेकिन इनमें एक क्वालिटी जो है वो क्या है, कॉमन है, और वो क्या है, ब्रेवरी। शेर की ब्रेवरी और शेरचील की ब्रेवरी, ये दोनों क्या है, ये एक पॉइंट है जो कि इन दोनों में कॉमन है, और इन दोनों, इस पॉइंट को हाईलाइट करने के लिए हमने इन दोनों को एक दूसरे के करीब लाया, और हमने क्या कहा कि शेरचील फॉट लाइक अ लायन। अगर हम लाइक को निकाल दे दरमियान में से, हम कहें फिर शेरचील इज़ लायन इन फाइटिंग, तो वो मेटाफर हो गया। फिर आगे वाली एक्सप्लेनेशन में हम इसको देखेंगे कि मेटाफर और सिमिली जो है एक दूसरे के बहुत करीब भी है, और दोनों को आपने डिफ्रेंशिएट भी करना है। एक में लाइक और एज वाले वर्ड्स यूज़ होते हैं, और दूसरे में ये अल्फाज यूज़ नहीं होते हैं। सो अ सिमिली इज़ अ फिगर ऑफ स्पीच that uses comparison. So comparison is the basic thing over here. In a simile we use two specific words like and as to compare two unlikely things. As I said, two different things coming from two different species that actually have nothing in common except one point. There is one point which is common to them. Let us see some examples of simile. For example, we say he is as brave as a lion. Here you will notice that the boy, this he, and the lion are being compared to each other for a common quality called bravery. So they have one common quality, and that is bravery, otherwise they are different. The later sentence would have read, अगर हम इसको यूँ कहते हैं तो ये सेंटेंस इस तरह से होता, अगर हम इसमें फिगर ऑफ स्पीच यूज़ ना करते, हम कहते ही इज़ ब्रेव। फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल हम कहते द बॉय इज़ वेरी ब्रेव, हम कहते द बॉय इज़ एक्सट्रीमली ब्रेव। तो ये जो है यहाँ पर कोई फिगर ऑफ स्पीच नहीं है, ये एक लेटरल सेंटेंस है, प्लेन सेंटेंस है, लेकिन ये वाला एक फिगरेटिव स्पीच का इस्तेमाल हुआ है इसमें। दिस इज़ not a literal or simple sentence. He is as brave as a lion. So the next, but using the simile makes it sound much better. देखें दोनों में, जैसा कि मैंने बैकग्राउंड की मैं भी बताया आपको कि this one is simple, not that much effective, but this one is more effective and more comprehensive and memorable for a longer period of time. So by using the simile makes it sound much better. Other such examples can be, the thief was quite like a mouse. So the thief and the mouse, these are two different things, two different species, but there is one thing common, which is quietness. This one was quiet like a mouse when it is in this state, quietness. The basketball player was as tall as a mountain. So the basketball player and the mountain, these two are different species, but one thing is common, and that is they being tall. Mountains, they are tall, and this player is tall. It should not be taken its a literal exact sense that the player was as tall as a mountain. It means that he was very tall, not like a mountain in its exact sense. A wrestler must be as strong as an ox. So wrestler and ox, different species, and there is one point of comparison point which is common to them both, to both of them, which is strong. The wrestler should be as strong as an ox. Knowledge makes a man precious like an angel. So angel and knowledge makes a man an angel. What is the common point? Knowledge. Both becomes precious. An angel is precious, a man becomes precious because of what? Because of knowledge. So this is the common point of comparison. Let us see the next one, metaphor. A metaphor is an implied simile. Implied means the meaning is hidden. In order to get to the meaning, you need, as I told you, to share the culture of the writer. If you are not familiar with the culture of the writer, it may be difficult for you to get to the meaning of to the true sense of the sentence. It does not state that one thing is like another. It doesn't use such words like or as, another, or acts as another. Instead, it says that the two things are one and the same. A simile, on the other hand, says that one thing is like another. Thus, when we say she is like an angel, this is an example of simile, because we are using this like over here. We use a simile. But when we say she is an angel, we are not using any such word as like or as. We use a metaphor. As I told you, Sherjil fought like a lion, and Sherjil is a lion and fighting. The first one is simile, and the second one is an example of metaphor. An example of metaphor is, let us see some other example. Alex is chicken. Literally, this sounds so absurd. If you take it in its literal sense, Alex is chicken. In its literal sense, exact sense, it sounds absurd, unpleasant. We should not say it that he is like a chicken, but in its figurative sense, it means that he is a coward, he is a frightened person. But this is a metaphor which suggests that Alex is a coward. He is a frightened person. It compares or implies that Alex is a chicken to bring out the symbolism. So chicken stands as a symbol for being coward or frightened. Like lion is a symbol, stands as a symbol for bravery. Similarly, chicken stands as a symbol for cowardness or being frightened. Some other examples are, you can see, love is a battlefield. So all the world's a stage. That technology, so this one needs to be written in capital. That technology is a dinosaur. Technology is not like a dinosaur. Love is like a battlefield. All the world is like a stage. As a stage, if you add these words to these sentences, they will automatically become the example of simile. So we are using no such words over here. While a simile and a metaphor seem to be very similar, there is one basic difference between the two. In a simile, the comparison happens with the help of the words as and like. A metaphor will not have either of those two words. So the next one is personification. Personification means when some abstract idea, non-living thing is presented as a living, or very much like human beings they are treated, they become personification. Another very interesting figure of speech is personification. In this, we personify or represent a non-human entity as human, and we gave an inanimate object or an intangible idea of some human qualities such as emotions, gestures, or even speech. They start making gestures, they can express emotions, and they can make a speech. Inanimate objects are treated as living things, or living things, and this become an example of personification. This is done when this is done to portray the object is alive and help the listener or readers paint a vivid picture. Again, we take the words at their literal meaning, they will sound absurd. If we take the words at their literal, we should not take the words in their literal meaning. otherwise they will become unpleasant, absurd. The little blade of grass, as you have just read this poem, is an example of personification, where the blades, you can see, they are standing in front of the god and they are able to express their emotions, and they are making gestures, and they are receiving awards, punishment, and that is a very good example of personification. So the wind howled as the storm grew stronger. So here you can see the wind is howling. Here wind, which is not a living thing, it is given the characteristics, features of a living entity. So it is howling like an animal. Here we have taken an object, the wind, and personified it as a living thing by claiming it is howling entity. Other such examples could be time ran away from him. So time is here presented as a kid or some animal or some man running away. So time is personified, presented like a human or living thing. The boat danced in the puddle. So the boat is dancing. A non-living thing presented like a human or living thing. The car died in the middle of the road. So the car, non-living thing, presented, treated like a living thing, it dies in the middle of the road, stops. The daffodils in the poem Daffodils by William Wordsworth, where he says the daffodils were fluttering with the wind. They were dancing, or fluttering means they were dancing with the wind. So here daffodils are presented as a living thing, is a living thing, as something that is that behaves like a human being. So daffodils are personified, they are addressed like human beings. I think you got the main points of this lesson. If you didn't get anything, do ask me, or any other figure of speech. This lecture will continue for 3 or 4 days. For 3 or 4 lectures will be continuously delivered on the figures of speech. So if you have any suggestion, do write it in the comment box so that I can explain it for you. Thank you very much.